Facebook, and on YouTube. And remember, we are live on www.iconradio.co.ke. We want to know if you are a young person or if you are an entrepreneur, how innovative is your business and how are you looking to improve your business and fit into the green category space? Today, we want to ask, what is the role of KIRDI, Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute, in promoting green and circular economy?
My name is Kelvin Khisa. I'm a principal research scientist with the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute, KIRDI.
Okay.
KIRDI is a state corporation under the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry. Its job is basically to do industrial research and use the outcome of the research to boost the productivity and competitiveness of Kenyan industry, including MSMEs.
Oh, wow.
Micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. So we have an environmental sustainability and climate change research center that is basically doing research in green and circular economy innovation space. So what I'm going to talk about is basically what we have realized so far and what can help Kenyans.
Oh,
But
wow.
before we start, I just want to make one comment
Okay.
that the Kenyan economy is wastefully linear. We take resources, make use of those resources, and we dispose the waste. That's not sustainable because it puts pressure on our finite resources and also it pollutes our environment. So what we need to do is to change our mindset so that we embrace a circular economy which focuses on take, make, use, and return so that we are closing the loops.
Have Kenyans embraced that? Have Kenyans embraced that?
Yes. A few CBOs and a few young people are tapping into this. What we want is basically to make it mainstream
Okay.
so that all of us are players in it.
Okay.
And to do that, we need awareness. So I'm
Yeah.
very glad that Icon Radio is helping us on this front.
Okay. When you're talking about SMEs and MSMEs, how many have you helped so far?
We've helped them in thousands. And our outreach is basically beyond Nairobi. We have a station in Nairobi. We have another one in Kisumu. And we have a few other satellite stations in 6 counties across the country. So our hope is basically to reach out to all the 47 counties. But because of funding limitations, we are having a gradual expansion program.
Expand on the expansion program.
We intend to reach out to all the 47 counties. So far we are doing in 8. So what remains is a lot. So we are looking for partners so that we can reach out. Some county governments have come out with specific needs like honey processing.
Oh,
We
wow.
go there. Mango processing. We go there. Waste management. We go there. So proactive ones are tapping into this opportunity. And we need everybody to be on board.
When it comes to KIRDI, how do you identify an MSME or SME?
Our mandate is industrial research and development. So we only relate with MSMEs that are involved in manufacturing value addition. Say I want to make cosmetics, then you can access our common manufacturing facilities that will enable you to get standards, get to the level that you meet the standards of Kenya Bureau of Standards, then you can now roll out your business. So we work with you from the idea, the technology that you need, the designs that might be required, then we work out on a product. So that product is tested in our laboratories before now we engage with KEBS that you get the mark that will give you the leeway to produce and put on the shelves.
How do I get support from KIRDI?
Basically, they can go to our website, then they write a letter to the Director General of KIRDI. So that director who will now mark it to the right department, then they'll be called for initial engagement.
What is your long-term vision for sustainable and circular economy in Kenya?
See, the culture of industrializing through industrial zones, special economic zones, export processing zones is taking shape in this country, both private and public. So our vision is to ensure that these industrial zones are eco-industrial parks, those that are driven by solar, are exchanging wastes and byproducts. Okay, they are promoting issues to do with water harvesting and storage, treating wastewater for reuse on site. So that is the principle that we call eco-industrial parks. And we've done a pilot on this in Ruaraka, involving 26 companies and funded by NIDA.
Oh,
So we developed a screening tool. So we screened all these 26 companies around Ruaraka and then developed an input, output, waste and byproduct database. So that database is facilitating what we call industrial symbiosis. So that waste from one company can be taken as a raw material by the other instead of being taken to the landfill.
Really?
Yes, and it's possible.
Is it working?
It's working. But we need to expand. We identified about 150 potential exchanges.
Okay.
But only two or three have been functionalized. So we are looking for a donor to basically help us to roll out these potential
out of 150,
exchanges.
you got 2 potential.
Yes, that have worked.
Which areas?
Yes. The one is that we have a pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
And for you to manufacture medicines, you must treat your water.
Yeah.
So you use a technology called reverse osmosis. And the efficiencies of reverse osmosis plants is about 70%. So there is what we call reject water. So that reject water is basically tap water. Okay? So there is a concrete company next door
Yeah.
them, who is now receiving that reject water and using it to make concrete slabs. We have a sustainable waste management policy, Sustainable Waste Management Act of 2022 that says that waste is a resource. And we have a green economy strategy and implementation plan. I'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
That also promotes resource use efficiency and also the idea that waste is a resource. And the Act, the Sustainable Waste Management Act, insists that all county governments must invest in material recovery facilities. So these are facilities that will facilitate source separation of waste, so that you have organics, you have plastics, you have scrap metal, and that improves the value for recycling.
Are there other projects that you feel that are promoting the green innovation?
We have satellite branches across the country. So one of our branches in Malindi is focusing on mango processing. And the processing of mango is very interesting. You'll find that if you have 50 tons being put into mango processing, 50% of it is waste, consisting mostly of the seed. So what we did is to get the seed from the mango and test for nutrient levels. So we discovered that you can use it as an animal feed supplement. Ultimate goal is avoid, reduce, reuse, recycle, recover before you treat and safely dispose.
Wow. When you identified the nutrients, levels that can be used for animal feeds, market penetration for that and market demand, is there a need for that? And do you feel like we need to introduce that?
We are using that waste as an input into a process. We are lowering operational costs. And eventually, product that is of good quality will be much more affordable to the farmers. So what we want to do here is that we don't want people to make false claims. Let your claim be evidenced by tests from a reputable laboratory. So we are doing this, and it's actually very useful. All these stuffs that are in Kenya, we've tested them.
All of them?
Most of them. Yeah, those that you see on the shelves, we have actually tested. Chicopoa, what have you.
Yeah.
Therefore, we are trying to discourage the greenwashing challenge, where people are just saying, it's efficient, right?
It's efficient, but it's,
yes,
it's just another alternative to quote-unquote green.
That's a false claim.
Yeah, it's a false claim, actually.
Number 2, we have a biogas testing laboratory. So if you want to use organic waste to generate methane for energy, then we can test your substrates and advise you on the designs, telling you about the methane yields and what have you.
But there's a problem. There's something that I want to understand. A lot of we rely a lot on imports of such products. Yet locally made products are equally as good.
Exactly.
So how do we convince the Kenyan market that we need to start adapting into uptake of our own laboratories? If you have an idea, like this is something that can generate jobs for so many people.
Exactly.
Like if you come and have your, if you the tests are done locally, then you're assured that they're tailor-made for the African, for the Kenyan market. So how do we encourage young people to take advantage of KIRDI's labs?
Yeah, it's basically awareness. And what we are doing here is basically one of the things that we need to do. We always attend trade fairs just to ensure that we reach out to as many people as possible. We also attend workshops just to reach out. But you are right, our outreach capabilities are limited, so we need the media support. And that's why I'm happy to be here.
Karibu sana.
So biogas laboratory testing is good. Biogas energy is clean energy. And we have so much of untapped potential for this. So we need to get into this. And biogas can also go into industrial scale. So that we are using biogas to run processes. That to be very clear. Another lab that I can talk about, we have an energy efficiency laboratory, which tests for the efficiencies of motors, solar lamps. Yes. So all these things that we want Kenyans to know that we have, so that they can tap into them and make investments that are backed up by science. Now, some of the promising KIRDI technologies are we are working on industrial scale biogas systems. Okay, we also are working on gas-fire cookstoves that are more efficient than what we have now. We are also in the area of green and circular economy innovation. And our ultimate goal is to ensure that all our industrial zones are eco-industrial parks. Increasing resource efficiency and waste and byproduct exchange through industrial symbiosis. Where waste from one is a raw material for the other.
Maybe you can go into the I know you're talking about a lot of green innovation.
Yes.
But I know research and development really plays a huge role. Yes. So what are some of the most promising green technologies that KIRDI is currently developing?
Yeah. I've just mentioned them. We are now working on industrial scale biogas systems so that we can design for you, fabricate locally, and be able to be rolled out. Then we are also very active in the development of gas-fire stoves. Yes.
Okay. So a lot of young people are asking, me included, I'm not young, but I'm also asking.
I like that.
When it comes to creation of these green jobs,
yes,
how can they tap into the technologies that you identified as key? How can they tap into that market?
Yes,
the different markets, the biogas, the electric, the energy efficiency, water treatment. How can they tap into that? Because the people who come to KIRDI are founders. Do you help them? I know you do capacity training and also absorption of other talents, but how do young people tap into this?
One of the things that we do is we also participate in internships and attachments. So most of the young people who come are doing degrees or diploma courses can get attachment opportunities in KIRDI. And they can see what we do. And of course, attachment as well. Once they graduate, the public service has a way of bringing them so that they get to learn this. But the idea is we want young people to bring to us ideas. Yes, by just walking in. KIRDI is a public institution. So you just walk in with an idea, then you'll be channeled to the right officers who will brainstorm with you. We have a very fantastic intellectual property system. So we shall not steal.
Very good question. I wanted to ask.
We shall not steal your idea.
Yeah.
So we shall work around that and ensure that what you have can be commercialized. And so many people, especially in the cosmetic space, are making a lot of money. And also in the area of agro processing. They came in, they learned the art, they went out, and they're making a lot of money.
What qualifications do I do? I can just be somebody from the village. I do not have as many qualifications. It's just the idea that...
Yes, we don't discriminate. So long as you are able to communicate to us and you have a nice idea, so be it. Yeah.
It's interesting. So it is not just chemicals, and like if you want to go mechanical, we can also go mechanically.
Yes, and it should be related to a mandate. Manufacturing value addition must be related to that. Wow. So you can value add on cassava. You can make starch out of cassava. You can have discussions on that. You can value add on waste, so that you're converting waste into energy.
Yeah.
That's another option. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So, Mumeskia, you just need an idea.
Yes, come with it.
Walk
we
to
can
KIRDI.
it, and we can push it.
And they have a very, very vigorous and very good idea of how to help you IP your product.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think right about now we're gonna take a short break, and then when we come back, we're gonna be talking some of the challenges that you go through, and from there we can have a more candid discussion about your role as KIRDI. So right about now we're gonna go back into the music, and we're gonna have Alicia Keys with the song "Falling" happening here on Icon Radio, your #1 entertainment plug, and this is Sustainability Connect. That is St. Joseph's Choir with the song Huyu Ni Nani happening here on your #1 entertainment plug, that is Icon Radio. And today being Wednesday, this is Sustainability Connect. And I'm so happy that the conversation today is a conversation that we have really been looking forward to having on our airways. And this is now the right time for it. We are trying to educate you on the simple actions that you need to take from home for you to be part of this conversation of sustainability. It is no longer a government story. It's no longer a government problem. It is all our problem, because climate change is happening because of us, and we need to take initiatives right from the home. And I'm super glad today that we were joined by Dr. Khisa, who is very rich in all matters of a green and circular economy. And he is the director at KIRDI, that is Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute. And I mean, we've been having this great conversation about, some of the activities that KIRDI has been embarking on in ensuring that our economy becomes a circular economy, where we are recycling, reducing, and reusing and like he said, I loved what he just said. Amesema, we need to go into zero waste. And for us to get into that, we need to recycle, we need to reduce, and we need to ensure that we are part of the conversation. So thank you so much, Dr. Khisa, for being part of this conversation today. And also remember, you can send us your short messages on WhatsApp, that is +254 788 380030. And remember, we are live on www.iconradio.co.ae. But remember, social media platforms to patane hapo. So right before the break, we were talking about some of the successes and the capacity building programs that KIRDI has been embarking on for the young people. And we just need to know, Dr. Khisa, what are some of for something to happen, policy and advocacy is something that is really key. So how does KIRDI collaborate with government bodies to influence policies that are supporting green and circular economy initiatives in the country?
Thank you very much. I think that is a very important question. Policy, legal and regulatory frameworks are very important. KIRDI is a state corporation, and we do research. So the research we do is used as evidence for the review and design of government policies. And one of the things that I would like to see in this country, so that we can have a structured approach to circularity, is the development of a circular economy strategy. We don't have one now.
Oh.
Yes. So we need a circular economy.
Don't have.
Yes. What we have is a green economy strategy and implementation plan, 2016 to 2030. But over and above that, we need a circular economy strategy, an action plan, as well as a roadmap.
So which stakeholders are supposed to be creating that?
It's basically the ministry, the private sector, and civil society, including academia. They should come together and develop that, so that we approach to circularity, circular transition. It's very structured, and it's backed up with institutional input.
Okay. Are there talks that have begun on that?
Yes, those talks have started at the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, and we need to just accelerate them. Yes, because it presents a huge opportunity that is largely untapped. And if we tapped into that, we can create the desired decent green jobs. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, even without the policies for the circular economy, there's what is really important and what really needs to work.
Yes.
And have you identified some of the key policies that we can shape and decide this is what needs to drive our economy in this
exactly? Yes. Now you have hit the nail on the head. One of the things that we need to do is we need to come up with a green public procurement policy.
What does that entail?
What that means is that the government is the greatest buyer of goods and services in any country.
Yeah.
So if it chooses to buy what is green and circular, then the private sector will be forced to innovate in that direction. So it will provide a ready demand for circular and green products that are already produced. So that demand is what will trigger eco-innovation at the private sector level. As we speak, there have been attempts to develop a green public procurement policy, but we are not there yet. So this is something that will now accelerate the circular transition. Because the market is there, you run into it. And what we need to do is just to look at the criteria for procurement and inject in circular principles. And that will help now the government to assure the market. Then the private sector can basically jump in. Number two is there's a green premium. For you to go green and circular, there's that initial cost. We call it the green premium. So this green premium, if it's catered for by somebody else, especially a government subsidy or a government incentive, then the transition will be much faster. As we speak, we don't have that in place. So we need an incentive to go green, and it's the government to do that.
Do we need political goodwill for that?
Exactly. That incentive has to go with political goodwill.
Who do we talk to? Who do we address to this issue politically now?
Of course, it must be the head of state. Yes.
Oh,
it will start with the CS, Minister of Environment, then it's channeled to the head of state.
Oh, wow.
Then the head of state is now the one showing commitment to the circular transition, and then he will spell out what the government is doing to create an enabling environment for that to happen.
We don't need theatrics so that you can push the government for this.
No. I think the systems are there. No. The systems are there because it makes economic sense.
Yeah, it does.
If you want to create decent jobs, then you tap into this. People, for them to go green, the initial cost is high. The green premium. So the government comes in and that becomes it. Another thing that we need to do, we need to work with our banks, commercial banks, so that they can create affordable green credit lines. So that our young people can go there and get an affordable credit line to do waste composting. An affordable green credit line to manage waste properly as a business. So that is not there at the moment. But the good news is that we've done a lot in terms of policy. I've mentioned that. But we need to also revise our outdated waste management regulations. As we speak, our waste management regulations were published in 2006. So issues of circularity and recovery of value were not captured. So we need to revise them. The beauty is that the Sustainable Waste Management Act of 2022 ordered the revision of the regulations. So things are moving in the right direction on that front. The tax regime should also favor green and circular products so that the market is level. Because if I'm involved in green and circular products, one of my functions is that I'm cleaning the environment. But if you are operating in a linear way, you are polluting the environment. So my good work should be recognized and put in the
tax way.
Yes, so the tax should also recognize that.
Wow.
Now, the good news is that our Minister of Environment has done a very good job. with respect to creating an enabling policy framework. I'll just list a few. Number one, we have the Green Economy Strategy and Implementation Plan, 2016 to 2030. And this prioritizes resource use efficiency and cleaner production, and it also advises us to treat waste as a resource. Number two, we have what we call Extended Producer Responsibility Regulations, EPR regulations. These regulations make us to form what we call Producer Responsibility Organizations. And we have so many working at the moment. Coca-Cola has PETCO. So what that means is that if I'm producing plastics in the environment, I pay somebody to collect those plastics and return them for recycling. So this is operational and it's something that is very good.
Wait, don't go fast. You said companies are paying people to collect the plastic waste.
Yes. No, organizations.
Organizations.
Called Producer Responsibility Organizations. We have what we call the Extended Producer Responsibility Regulations that have been passed, and they provide for the formation of Producer Responsibility Organizations, private sector driven.
Wow.
So they pay a levy to this PRO. It's the job of the PRO to partner with CBOs to collect the wastes that they are responsible for into the environment, back into circulation for recycling, reuse, and repurposing.
In your space,
Yeah.
The adoption of that, how has it been? Because maybe the company knows and a few CBOs know, but how is the adoption? Is it something
the adoption is good, but it needs to be expanded further. Yes.
Because we see a lot of that happening in Nairobi, but you don't see that happening outside Nairobi.
Exactly, yes.
So there needs to be, it's everyone's responsibility. In as much as it's the producer's responsibility, it needs to go back to, because waste is everywhere. Waste is not just in Nairobi. So are they doing that county by county, or is it something that they are, now trying to expand into?
It's supposed to be the whole country, because the Extended Producer Responsibility Regulations, they say that if you are responsible for the discharge of a Tetra Pak into the environment, a PET bottle into the environment, it's your duty to either recover them for recycling on your own, or you pay a PRO to do that job for you. So most companies, they find that it's easier to pay a PRO to collect the waste for recycling on their behalf. But you are right, the outreach has not been very remarkable, so we need to strengthen this. So these regulations list the sectors that should be incorporated into the EPR scheme. We have plastics, we have e-waste, we have textiles, and many others. So some have formed these PROs, others are yet to form them because of a few challenges here, but consultations are ongoing. All this is private sector driven, so we have Kenya Association of Manufacturers driving this whole process. So I know for plastics, things are running. We have a few PROs. Textile is when they're in the formation stage. And many others will come on board. And this will help us to promote circularity. Because now somebody is creating a fund for the collection of what goes into the environment, having it separated in a good quality manner, fit for recycling. Yes, so this will promote circularity. One other thing is that the Sustainable Waste Management Act of 2022 orders us to treat waste as a resource. And counties must construct material recovery facilities according to that law. So we are hoping that we are going to have a series of material recovery facilities across all counties, including Nairobi.
Okay, so basically it's not just dustbins.
No.
Because, that is what we understand.
Yes, not just dustbins.
Yeah.
We have a material recovery facility
Yeah.
that will help us separate the waste and add value to that waste. If you want to recycle, then the value addition in the recycling is separation. So when you separate, you have high quality materials that can be easily recycled. Yes.
So maybe you can pinpoint maybe one company that is helping a particular county that you are aware that they have adapted this.
This has not been adapted. It's something of 2022.
Really?
Yes.
So it's now just
Now
being...
people are debating it,
Yeah.
trying to see the designs. How do we design this material recovery facility? Where do we locate it? And it's a game changer, by the way, because it will create a lot of decent jobs.
Yeah, I can
Because if
imagine.
you separate
That's
and
what
you
I'm
have
asking.
several tons
Yeah.
of organic waste, that can be value added.
Yeah.
You have several tons of plastic.
Yeah.
It's an income.
Yeah, and textile is now booming.
Yes,
Is
we
now
want to
coming
have
up.
eco-textile.
Yeah.
Those that are basically produced, recycled for, you give it a new lease instead of throwing it away.
Yeah.
So this is something that we need to take very seriously. One of the things that has not worked is the Climate Change Act, provided for a climate fund.
Where has it
A
not
climate
worked?
fund.
Yeah.
The fund has not been operationalized up to now.
Explain to us what is hindering it from being active?
No, fund. We are operating in an environment where there is scarcity of resources.
Yeah.
So that could be a factor. But this fund could really promote and accelerate the green transition. Unfortunately, we don't have it. And therefore, we are trying to see how to survive. And one of the ways that you pointed out in your questions is basically to build partnerships. And I've listed here the importance of partnerships. Partnerships are critical as they will help us get the requisite funding for the green transition. They can also help us in technology transfer. What we are doing has been done elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that transfer of technology will be easy. It can also help us access knowledge and best practices that have been adopted successfully elsewhere. It will advance eco-innovation, which is the bedrock of circular transition. We must eco-innovate. And of course, we must partner with the UN. The UN has a mechanism of promoting sustainability. And therefore, the UN environment, the General Assembly resolutions can also leverage us into some best practices of some kind.
So that means startups and entrepreneurs who come to you and their innovation is geared towards climate. You have a bit of challenge when it comes to, ideation, then creating a product out of it, and then getting its footing in the country because of funds.
Yes. And what we do about it is that we cannot absorb as much. We have very many young people.
Yeah.
So we can't absorb all of them.
Yeah.
So the funding limits our ability to absorb the numbers that are absorbed. Then we also try to reach out to UN organizations. KIRDI is basically a designated entity for CTCN, Climate Technology Center Network. So part of some feasibility studies can be looked through the CTCN framework, which has some bit of funding for feasibility support. Yeah.
Wow.
So some have gone that direction.
How long do you incubate?
We incubate for 12 to 18 months.
12 to 18 months.
Yes, depending on the complexity of what you are involved in. So more complex things will go to 18, but mostly 12 months.
Are there projects that you feel that, we started on this, but it's not going to work?
Those ones don't get to the incubation level because it's a whole sequential step. So we go vetting. Pass this criteria because before they get to this and that and that. So it doesn't get to that level. It will drop off much earlier.
Because there was a study the other day on tech startups that they really, they come into the market and, they go through rounds and rounds of funding. Like, you go seek for funds, you're funded, and then after 2-3 years, you shut down. So that has been the question. What challenges, had you not seen this as a potential challenge coming? And for you to have, given the funds up until this level to a point that the company has now shut down, is it they had not seen that? So that is I mean, that is a bit different with the products that you're creating, because this is more of a product that is not more. I know tech is adopted, but not is more physical. So I'm sure that by the time you're seeing that this is not going to work, you'll have identified.
Yes, yeah, that is true. Yeah.
But what are some of the challenges that actually not even that? Let's talk about innovation hubs and incubation and partnerships. I know we just talked briefly, but and you talked about how important they are, because you talked about the UN, you talked about private partnerships, and how do you go about seeking for partnerships? Because I mean, how does KIRDI? I mean, you're a government entity. I mean, they should be flocking to you guys and telling you, but why is it such a challenge to get the partnerships?
Partnerships. I don't think partnership is a big challenge, because what we do is we have several focus areas, thematic areas of interaction. So if we are talking about environmental sustainability and climate change, then what we do is we look at the strategic positioning of development partners. Then we basically reach out to them and say, we are doing this, and we partner so that we scale up. And that is always favorably accepted, because development partners might not be able to understand our needs. So when we partner with them, our outreach becomes better, and scalability is also pronounced. So it has not been a big challenge.
It's not a big challenge,
yes,
but funding is
funding is funding because it's always limited. Funding is. So we want to bring in commercial banks. If you are supporting corporate social responsibility, you should also create an affordable credit line for people to make investments in solar, because that's good for the environment. So that should just be,
So that's your clarion call to the banks.
Yes, please, the banks, please. And I want to mention that the Kenya Bank Association has done a great job together with the central bank under the Sustainable Financing Initiative program, which I was involved in for a while, to just sensitize the banks. So I think in the near future, we're going to see some development in that direction. So that banks...
Do we need a policy for that? I feel it should be like a mandate. They should be...
Maybe we need an obligation.
An obligation as opposed to a policy.
An obligation. So that as part of your CSR, you create an affordable green credit line that you are funding businesses who are in the area of conserving the environment as they create decent green jobs. I think that's something that
is something. And I'm hoping that when you're saying that in future there's going to be something good coming from all this engagement, I'm hoping that is one of the key priorities down there.
Yes, so that if you are getting a loan to set up solar PV plant, your interest rate should be low because you're conserving the environment.
Do you think they give interest low?
They should.
They should,
In the developed world, that's happening. Yes.
It is,
It is.
So,
and here...
is there a country we can benchmark on, so that when you're approaching the banks, we're saying, this is, quote-unquote, Singapore. I don't know how their policy is, but this is how Singapore works. And so, we benchmark Kenya against Singapore because of, 60 years, and we've grown so much. So, is there a country that we can benchmark on with our credit line for our...
Yes, we can benchmark with Denmark. I've been to Denmark and I saw those possibilities are there. And even China. China has rolled out a lot of affordable green credit lines to enable businesses to basically go green. So China, Denmark, and a bit of South Korea, where our president is at the moment. It's also very strong on green credentials. That's the way we should go.
Oh, wow. So at least we are not walking into this blindly. We at least have an idea
best practices
it has worked somewhere.
Exactly.
Can we adopt it and localize it and see how it fits our Kenyan market?
Exactly.
Oh, wow. So policy and engagement. What steps is KIRDI taking to raise public awareness about the importance of a green and circular economy?
Yes. Last week.
With this being one of them.
This is one of them. Exactly. Last week I was reading a paper. There was a workshop at Kisumu Polytechnic. And what was exciting is that the TVET are going to revise their curriculum to go green and circular. It's fantastic. And when I looked at that, I said, this is the way to go.
Yeah.
So we shall participate in the review of that curriculum and inject in some niceties that can promote circularity.
Oh, wow.
We want our universities and postgraduate students to do research in this space. So we shall reach out to, we are trying to reach out. We have been reaching out. We give a few lectures. I told you I got more bits. We want to also reach out to other public universities just to entice them that this is the way to go. We need to tap into this. So to reach out to the public, I think we need support. Yeah, we need to partner with NGOs and so on.
Yeah.
And this is something that the media can help us to create this. Yeah.
There was something that I also noticed about the TVET.
Circular curriculum, yeah.
Yeah, circular curriculum. And I know it's, the other day the Energy Management Awards were happening, and there was a university students, 2 university students, they won an award on an innovation that they had just developed for 2 months because it was working. Like, it was a powered generator, a solar powered generator that can help, small businesses. Yeah. Something very simple, yet very
transformative.
Yeah, because I mean, we can't rely on power, like electric power, because of outages. But that was something that, even companies are now trying to adopt, like, if you can develop this from a university level, do research on it, develop it in your university, because that was a category. And these are young people who have great ideas. They just need a boost. Like, what you're doing is the right thing. And I was like, is there any other innovation in your university? And they're like, no, this is the first one. So we are hoping that we can now start developing it. Because these are the incentives that the universities are looking for.
Exactly.
So if you're focused on that as well, like, we are here to support you, then they'll be like, okay, why don't we push this agenda as a team? So I think that is something that we can really work on towards. I mean, the TVET curriculum is amazing.
It's amazing, It's a fast. And
it's all
I know Germany has been a leader in that.
Yeah.
They have been promoting green TVET school curricula for years. And that has made them to make a lot of strides in the green and circular transformation. Yeah. So teaching those plumbers, those electrical guys about green, principles and their incorporation into what they do, it's going to be a game changer. Yeah, it's a fantastic thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how can we get involved? Like, how can individuals and communities, like, how can they be involved? I know you mentioned, like, what you are intending to do as KIRDI, but what is your clarion call asking them, come, let's do this? Besides the universities, are we looking at it from a younger generation, like young? Because I've seen the Scouts movement has the thing. I mean, how low do you, or how uko chini, mnataka kuanzia wapi chini sana?
Yeah, us basically is through training and retraining. Yeah. So we hope that KIRDI is working towards the establishment of a graduate school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, master's
that is your...
Yeah,
wow.
It's in our vision. And we are basically doing benchmarking as we speak. So training and retraining, these emerging concepts will be part of our core mandates in that proposed graduate school. And then, of course, enrolling in our common manufacturing facility support programs. So many have come. They have gone away to make money and create decent jobs. Yeah. So we hope that through these communities, CBOs can come, get the skill for that specified period of time, then to go out to just do just that.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
So it's not just an individual.
Yeah.
You're also welcoming CBOs who have a good idea.
Good idea. And they have a nice governance structure.
Yeah.
So we can also work with us.
That is amazing. So that you don't have to, like, as long as the structure, the governing structure is strong and it is proper, then you can be able to support that.
In fact, we support so many on that front.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. So a lot of CBOs who you've been saying, we are trying to do this and we're not getting support, can you approach KIRDI? They will help you in one way or another in ensuring that your business, because they have a lot of business plans, business ideas, but they don't come to fruition because they're like, we don't know where to go.
Yes, now you can link them up to us.
Yeah.
And it will help this country immensely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, future outlook. I know you talked about...
yes, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are the upcoming projects or future plans KIRDI has in store for advancing the green and circular economy?
Yeah, one of the things that we are planning to do is basically to work with stakeholders and set up what we call a green and circular economy academy.
Oh.
Yes.
Where?
In KIRDI.
How big is it? We need to come to KIRDI and see this space, man.
That will help us promote the capacity building.
Yes.
In the green and circular economy space.
I can imagine.
As we speak, we only have a center at Kenya Association of Manufacturers. It's private. There is no government institution that is championing the green and circular transition. So we hope to have such an academy which will be fused into our postgraduate school. So that will help us. Yeah. Now, a few opportunities for circularity. So separation of waste promote recovery of value from different waste streams. This can happen to a city like Nairobi. So we can make Nairobi a circular city. That means we are basically separating waste at source. And most of the waste is organic and adding value to organic waste. Biogas digesters coming up. We can have issues like integrated resource recovery facilities, material recovery facilities coming up. This will create jobs and, of course, absorb the informal waste recyclers. These guys who walk around with bags, they can be integrated into that so that they have a formal job.
Oh, wow.
Number two, we need to have circular municipalities.
Okay.
I don't know where you come from. You come from?
Kiambu County.
Kiambu, yes. Kiambu can be a circular municipality.
Yeah. Kiambu is the next big Nairobi.
Yeah. So circular municipality.
Yeah.
Whereby you are not just operating in a take, make, use and dispose model.
Yeah.
It's take, make, use and return. So that you give all your waste streams.
But we need incentives, Buana.
Yes.
We need incentives. We
cannot
bit of
incentives to go there.
Incentives, yeah.
You need a bit of incentives.
Yeah.
But more importantly, you're also cleaning your environment. The absence of going circular is that you spend money to throw away.
Yeah.
But here we are now saying manage your waste so that it becomes a revenue stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something that you look at it broadly like that.
I think there's a company in Kenya, which is Mr. Green.
Yeah,
where
Mr. Green, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know them.
you can get compensated for just dropping your waste.
Yes.
So I think for us, we just need to. There's a structure that they have, and I think we'll invite them so that they can discuss and tell us how they work about it, so that people can really understand. Because, like you said, municipal green initiatives are very important.
Exactly.
Because if that can be adapted in every county, then our problem of separating at source will be so easy.
Exactly.
It will be halfway solved if we started with something good. I mean, and I know when we talk about incentives is, like tusitupe hizo chupa, but how do we ensure that it is also a law? Because countries like Rwanda, they I remember one of my guests was telling me he's been to Rwanda. I've not been to Rwanda, but I'd love to go. But he was saying that you can walk for miles on miles without seeing a dustbin, but you'll also not see litter.
Yes.
So how do we work on that as a law, not just as a policy, but as a gazetted law? Because I mean, like I remember the Mishuki rules when they came; they were very effective, and people had their seatbelts on. There was no overloading of passengers. But and then after a while,
over time,
that was just
we relaxed.
Yeah, we relaxed. We are now back to normal. I don't know what normal is, but we are now back to one kwa matatu in the small. So how do we move to make it a law that sustainability is not just a policy driven, but a law driven kind of agenda?
Yeah, I think we have enough laws.
Goodwill.
We have enough laws to promote sustainability in this country. There isn't another extra law we need. We have enough laws.
Really?
And to a large extent, adequate policies. What we only need to focus on is proper implementation. What you have talked about can fit into what we call take-back schemes. So that if you are responsible for taking something into the environment, you facilitate its coming back for recycling. And that is already covered in our extended producer responsibility obligation. What we need is to ensure that
it is implemented.
Yes, and the money, the initial capital, before it becomes sustainable, before it becomes viable, has to be provided by somebody. And that somebody is nobody other than the government. We need incentive schemes. Once that is put in place, then take-back schemes will be very operational.
Wow.
Now, we also need to promote waste and byproduct exchange through industrial symbiosis. That we have piloted in Dwaraka, and it makes a lot of economic and environmental sense. Unfortunately, one of the things that we learned in that exercise is that companies don't talk to each other. They could be neighboring companies, but they don't talk to each other. So a platform.
And they're doing different things.
Yes, but they don't see that there could be commonalities. Like this is a pharmaceutical company. This is a concrete manufacturing company. So they don't see anything that they can share. Until we went there and
until you guys are like, hey, you guys.
Them, man, your waste, don't throw it away. It can help this guy to make cheaper, low-cost concrete products. And it worked very well.
I think we should do the Nyumba Kumi on corporations.
Exactly. Then lastly, and very important, holding here in what I do, promotion of eco-industrial parks. You know, we have this culture speaking of special economic zones are coming up, export processing zones are coming up, and these are places where we are concentrating industry. So those industrial zones must be eco-industrial parks so that they don't kill our environment. And to do that, we need resource efficiency, cleaner production practices, adoption of the expanded 3Rs, where we are reducing waste, repurposing waste, remanufacturing that waste, and of course, repairing the waste. So that eventually what we dispose of is in reduced and insignificant amount. So that way we shall be promoting the culture of circularity. I want to point out here that the world is only 7.2% circular. 7.2%. And it has been reducing. In 2020, it was 9.1. No, in 2018. 2020, it became 8.6. So 9.1, 8.6. Now we are at 7.2 circularity. So the circularity gap is 92.8%. So we need to tap into this. We are very linear. And we cannot talk about sustainability if we are just linear like that. So Kenyans must tap into this circularity gap and raise it up to even 20%. And that will be very transformative.
How do you do that?
We do that by just creating an enabling environment for this to happen. So we need incentives. We need to build on our green skill sets. We need to do demonstrations, experimentation, so that you say, this is waste, and it can be used for this. Then people can pick up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have, I don't know if KIRDI does, but do you have, they're called showcases, where people can come and demonstrate for the public, this is how this is working, this is how it can work.
Exactly.
Do
that is basically common manufacturing facilities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They just are there. Then you share the infrastructure. Part of that infrastructure has an inbuilt history of how it was tested and what the results were and so on. So you're basically exposed to that. Yeah.
So if you want to come, you can just walk in.
Yes, that's a government institution.
I love how you're saying it's a government institution.
So you just walk in.
And before you get to the gate, unaenda kuona nani?
No. Just say I'm a potential incubatee. I've come here so that I'm told on how I can engage with the institute. That's it.
Wow.
So there is an institution that directly deals with that, and then you'll be advised accordingly.
All right. Yeah. So right about now, we're going to take a short break to kunywe kopo la maji. And then from there, we are going to be almost winding up about this conversation. We've been having a very dire, it's something that we really need to be discussing on air every single week on how important green jobs and how we can move away from, being a linear economy into a circular economy. So right about now, we are going into Human Nature by Michael Jackson right here on your number one entertainment flag icon radio. And remember, send us all your messages on +254-780030. So thank you so much for being part of this conversation. See you after the break. So that is Michael Jackson with the song Human Nature right here on your number one entertainment plug. That is Icon Radio. And this is Sustainability Connect. And I am blown away. KIRDI is at the forefront of creating a circular economy. Is at the forefront of enabling companies and SMEs, MSMEs into a circular economy. And one thing that is talked about is companies haziongei. You guys are not talking to each other. You need to talk to each other for you to identify where your waste is at. Because like you said, one man's meat is another man's poison, and yet one man's poison is another man's meat. So how do we integrate this circular economy? By ensuring that there's communication between, it's called what? Partnerships. Partnerships is key. And I love the idea that, the Raraka project is kicking off and is working. And that is just an insightful idea of how the circular economy can work. And thank you so much, Dr. Khisa, for that. And like we talked about innovation, green innovation, and how you're looking at it, it has to be sustainable, and it has to be something that is incorporated within the sustainability culture. Right now, we are just going to be talking about what are some of the challenges that KIRDI is facing. And I feel like, besides the funding bit, what other challenges is KIRDI facing at the moment?
Thank you. I think, Wanjira, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
The country's journey towards the circular transition is facing a few challenges. I'll just mention a few. Number one is we have impending regulations. Regulations that are very outdated, to those that don't take into account eco-innovative development.
How does that affect you as KIRDI?
What that means is that if we want to exchange wastes between two feasible, close proximity companies, it can't work because the regulatory regime doesn't permit. Yeah?
But I thought you already had a project ongoing.
Yes, yeah. And we came across that challenge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the idea is for you to move X from point A to B, you need a license.
Oh.
You need a license, as per the rules. Now, the challenge is if waste is going to be reused as a material, an input material, it ceases to be waste. So we need to tweak the regulations to facilitate that, to exempt the materials that are being exchanged or byproducts that are being exchanged. They cease to be waste because there is value in them. So that tweaking of the regulations is critical. And it also leads to the definition of waste. What is waste? If waste has value, we still call it waste. So that definition needs to be tweaked.
Well, that's a very good question. What is waste? If waste has a value, does it stop being waste?
Yes, it does. So we must make those special provisions.
Oh, okay. So this is, are there talks in line with that? Or?
Yeah, we initiated discussions with NEMA, and NEMA is fully supportive of the concept of industrial symbiosis. So we are hoping that the revision that is ongoing of the 2006 waste management regulations will incorporate that.
Okay.
And we can learn from the EU experience.
Okay.
They have basically defined waste in a manner that recognizes the residual value in it.
Okay.
Yes.
So how long? I mean, I know sometimes policy making can really be tedious and very long. So, and I mean, we need these licenses for this to be operational. I mean, our vision is Vision 2030, 2040, 2050. So how long do you feel like this is going to take?
It will take a short time because the Sustainable Waste Management Act basically provides a limit. By this time, should have done this.
Okay.
So in 2 years' time, should be up and running.
Okay. Yeah. So let's hope those timelines will be stuck on.
Exactly. Another challenge is challenge of establishing viable business cases. Don't have many yet.
What?
Yes. And this is an area where we want the young people to come in. Yeah. They treat waste as a resource and see, using their knowledge, what they can do to derive value from the waste, different waste streams, and make sure that that becomes viable.
Yeah.
And one of the points that I mentioned earlier is market. The market for green and circular services or products. And therefore, this underscores the need for the promotion of green public procurement. We can also have private procurement support, so that people are just buying what is green and circular.
Yeah.
And that demand will now trigger innovation at the MSME level. So that is key. And it's even made worse because you cannot get funding.
Yeah.
Because you go to a bank with a project on waste management, the current analysis will classify it as high risk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Yeah, high risk. And therefore, you will not be given the support that is required.
You know, it's funny that they would consider it high risk, yet waste is every day.
Yes. So that understanding is what we need to drive.
Yeah.
So that they don't find it high risk.
Yeah.
They appreciate it on the functionality of sustainability point of view. Yeah.
Wow.
Then
wait, viable businesses. Let's start. As in, I mean, there are so many ideas about waste being a resource. So why is it such a challenge? Because we've seen plastics is working. We've seen cabros being made from plastics. Maybe it's the limitation of ideas in terms of like if company is doing the same thing and then another company is doing the same thing, then it beats, like people feel like, you know, there's only so many of us who can do this. Is that a challenge? Is that the reason why there's limitation of projects or ideas?
This is a fairly new thing. So we need to have solid research backing, which goes into commercialization. So we need to partner with the young people, tell them that this can work, and the research evidence is this, so they can go ahead and commercialize. So this will now involve several stakeholders, including the financial people, the financing teams. Yeah. And there are so many companies. There's a company in Limuru that is doing a lot of good work using the black soldier fly. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And we want those to be multiplied in many other places, so that our municipal waste becomes a valuable product that is creating jobs, creating wealth, using the black soldier fly value addition concept.
Yeah. I've also seen organic waste in bee farming.
Yes.
So there's so much.
Yeah, there's so much
that can be done.
Yes, and we just need to prepare our young people to think outside the box.
So does that mean that we're hoping that in the near future our landfills will be deteriorating?
Yes. Let me tell you, countries, most European countries, Germany, Denmark, you know how much of their municipal waste is landfilled? Less than 3%.
Really?
Yes. The rest is retained into the economic value system. Wow. Yes. So we need to model that here, so that we don't throw away resources that are valuable.
Yeah.
We recover them innovatively.
Yeah.
So that very little is landfilled in our open dumps.
Yeah.
Denmark is 3% landfilling. The rest is retained. We can do better than that. And they're using that in Denmark, where I visited and I also went for training. They separate the organic waste, put in regional biodigesters to support. Biodigesters give methane that is used for district heating. So you have 5 municipalities coming together to have one huge biogas digester, which produces methane for district heating. So that improves energy security. Then the substrate from the biogas digester is high-grade manure that boosts food security. That's the direction we need to go. So on the Kenyan scale, it means counties can come together. 3, 4, 5 counties in an economic block.
Yeah.
They're already having those blocks.
Yeah, you know.
Yes.
The Rift is the best. I love how the Rift, they have blocks.
Exactly. Yeah. So we can have biogas digesters there, where municipal organic waste is directed there to improve our energy security as well as our food security. There's no rocket science in that. Yeah.
There's not, but there's one particular waste that has always been a contentious issue, and that is clinical waste.
Clinical waste, yeah.
Are there opportunities in that particular kind of waste?
Yeah.
Yeah?
There is, yeah. Waste, if you feel that clinical waste is hazardous, you know what you do? You can incinerate it. And you don't just incinerate, but you incinerate with energy recovery.
Yeah, so there are so many
yes. Now I have a problem with those.
They're always there.
They're always
but
there.
There's no
energy recovery.
Yeah.
And that is the mistake. So you incinerate with energy recovery. Yes, that will make sense.
Because now that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. But we don't do with energy recovery. And tomorrow we want hot water in our hospitals. And you are just incinerating that. So that awareness is critical. So incinerate with energy recovery. But we also have non-combustion solutions to healthcare waste. And Kenyatta National Hospital, just across here, they have a microwave-based system that actually makes hazardous waste less hazardous.
Healthcare waste less
hazardous. We need to go and see that.
We will go and see that.
Yes, just uses waves to make it, and that can facilitate now value recovery, a bit of recycling after it has gone through that system.
Because that is, even when we're doing cleanups, and especially today being World Environment Day, there's a lot of river cleanups, there's a lot of, waste collection and all that. And you find in these rivers what people remove. There's industrial waste, there's dead animals, like
textile waste.
There's textile, then there's
human waste, clinical stuff.
Clinical waste.
Hazardous clinical stuff.
That is just on the extreme. I thought human, if we can incorporate that, I loved what you said. If incineration can be used as power sources, then that means that we need to see a whole lot of reduction. They're going to talk about funding for this, but I think this is something that can be done using their own funds in terms of their CSR.
Exactly.
Do CSR on yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Lead on our best practice. That I fully agree.
Wow. Another challenge?
Another challenge is insufficient collaboration in supply chains and between sectors. We have this silo approach. So supply chains don't interact so much. So we need to promote that. So we need IT solutions in that space so that people who are supplying to each other can interact more and also put sustainability at the center of their decision making so that whatever you do should be sustainable. And you should be able to allow yourself to be audited so that improvement measures are put in place and you conform to them. So those interactions will help promote sustainability. Then, of course, weak institutions. I've just mentioned to you that we don't have a nice public academy to build green skill sets. So weak institutions, we need to strengthen that. Then, of course,
but I love that concept that you actually have an idea of an academy.
So then we have weak enforcement of regulations. So the regulations are there, nobody's enforcing them. So we need to go away into voluntary codes of practice so that we do it on our own volition as a result of our value for a clean and safe environment.
But that is a challenge. As in, before you voluntarily want to do something, you feel like, you first wait to see what the government says. You get, like, I think that's why, like you said, there are so many laws, so many policies, but that voluntarily wanting to actually implement, there's no goodwill.
Exactly.
So we need to push that agenda so that there's that. Now it now becomes an initiative. But like you said, KNH has already taken up, energy and recycling bit of it. So we need to look at how do we push this agenda of companies to now voluntarily do this.
Pick up that. That is very important. And it hurts me when you drive behind somebody, you drink your juice, and you throw the stuff out.
Yeah.
You eat your sweet and you throw the wrapping out. Madness. How do we get out of that? The education system should instill those values. It appears it doesn't. So we have people who have gone to school and are a danger to the environment by virtue of their consumption habits. Yani unakunywa kitu na tupa nje ya gari. It hurts me.
Yeah.
Do you experience the same?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're driving towards Naivasha.
Yes.
I have no idea where people, like when you're doing long distance drives.
Yeah, yes.
That is where all the culprits are. Like you don't want to carry your waste up to you where you're going.
Just put it in your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think now these laws, I remember we had dustbins in our matatus. These laws, I mean...
Enforcement.
Yeah, enforcement is...
Nobody enforces it anymore. Yeah.
So is that a call to our leaders?
Yes. No, our curriculum. First of all, our curriculum, kindergarten level, let us teach the values of a clean and safe environment. Yeah. I think CBC is doing a bit of that.
Yeah, it is.
Let's hope we are, passing the right message to the young guys. When the kids pick it up, that's it. It will become part of their DNA.
That is a new generation. But now us.
Yes.
Who are already
Public.
existing.
The citizenry.
Yeah.
Just awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness.
All right. So
and we can use our children to remind them. The best way to convert the behavior of an adult is to use a child. A child to correct you.
I know. They're embarrassing. Oh God, they are loud and obnoxious and very embarrassing.
Yeah.
But that is, I would think that is a clarion call, where we take it more as an individual role.
Yeah.
Then you start from the family setup, from your home. How you ensuring that people are responsible enough to either segregate waste or not just litter everywhere. It starts from home actually.
Yeah.
We can say starts from the kindergarten, but no, it starts from home.
Yes. Yeah? Then kindergarten can perfect it.
Exactly. Then goes all the way up.
In fact, in Canada, they have what we call a citizenship program. So to be a Canadian citizen, there are certain thresholds you need to impress. Yeah. One is you must know something about climate change. You must know. Number two, you must embrace energy efficiency. In your household.
Yeah.
Are you doing that?
Yes.
Yes. Switching to energy efficient bulbs, switching off lights when you don't need them, making use of natural light, those aspects of green buildings. And number three, you must harvest rainwater. Do we harvest rainwater?
Well.
Imagine a situation where the whole of Nairobi started harvesting rainwater. It's transformative. Our water security will go up. We need incentives to do that, especially the storage bit. So Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company should find it wise to invest in that, because that will reduce pressure on the limited resource. So we can harvest water and so on, then treat waste as a resource. These are things that we can do.
That's a very good slogan that we're going to use. Treat waste as a
valuable resource.
Yeah. Anyway, our time is so much gone. We're already way past our time, but maybe you can give us your personal insights. And this is maybe a key takeaway. And the advice you'd give young people and young professionals who are interested in contributing to the green and circular economy as your parting shot.
Yeah. Let me say this, that My interest in sustainability is driven by Mother Nature. You know, in nature, there is no waste.
Yeah.
So if we can design industries to operate as Mother Nature, then sustainability is assured.
So what actually drove you to that?
What drove me to this is that nature has remained resilient and sustainable for thousands of years. It's because it's driven on circular principles. Waste from one is a raw material for the other.
Yeah.
Waste is food. So if our companies can copy that, mimic that that cycle of nature, then sustainability is assured. So that is basically what drove me into that. And to the young people, I want to tell them that waste is money. We are doing so badly. I gave the statistics. Circularity levels, 9.1 in 2018.
Yeah.
8.6 in 2020, 7.2 in 2023. What that means is we are becoming more linear.
2024, it'll be like 6 point something.
Yes, we are going towards linearity. So we are not talking about sustainability.
Yeah.
So they should seize this moment and try treating waste as a job, as a resource, and that will create the decent jobs, and we should have cleaner neighborhoods. So I've written here, let us exploit waste to create wealth and employment creation. Municipal organic waste should be separated as source and value added. This will clean up our cities and generate incomes.
Yeah.
And our young people can do that because they all come from neighborhoods that have that. Then lastly, we must abandon, take, make, use, dispose, and replace it with take, make, use, and return.
Wow.
So we need to work on our reverse logistics so that what goes into the environment is returned back for recycling. The loops are closed. And that is happening. We need only to expand it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana.
We have learned so much. We have really learned the role of KIRDI. So if you're a young person and you have an idea of how you can generate wealth through waste, KIRDI can help you. It can help you juggle out that information. It can help you brainstorm and see how your ideas work and how they fit into the community. Besides us creating green jobs, we want you to have a change of mindset that, sustainability is the role of the companies. No, sustainability is the role of everyone. So the waste is a resource. Waste as a resource is something that we are taking back home today from this discussion. And thank you so much, Dr. Khisa, for coming in today. We appreciate your role in KIRDI. We appreciate the fact that young people have that avenue. They can no longer say, we don't know where to go. They now have a place that KIRDI has been in inception since 19
79. And even much earlier.
Yeah. So since then, there have been so many companies that have come out from that. And so right now, we can also take that up as a challenge ourselves. Like, how do we become part of the circular economy? We don't want our numbers to dwindle down. We want our numbers to increase. We want to be talking about 20 point something by the year 2030, 2060. So maybe we can talk about one last thing that you mentioned in passing, about a conference that you're going to be talking about circular economy in Konza in September. Maybe you can tell us a bit about that conference.
Yeah. This will be a world conference. It's basically a conference that is being hosted in Africa for the first time. It's called International. Let me get the.
Yes, as he gets that information, this is Sustainability Connect, and this is Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug. Every Wednesday, what we do Sustainability Connect. So yes,
yes. So the conference is going to be hosted by Konza Technopolis. It's called International Association of Science Parks and Areas of Innovation Conference. It's going to be held in September, and in this conference, I'm going to pitch our need to have a green and circular economy academy, and also our requirement to be able to actualize the identified synergies in our Keko Baraka project.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much for being part of the conversation. And today we have been talking to Dr. Kelvin Khisa, who is the principal
research scientist.
Yeah,
KIRDI.
do you know science doesn't sell that much? But today you sold us.
Yeah.
You know? So science is something that is a very, very foreign concept for many. But today you have really narrowed it down for us what it means that research is at the core of every business. You cannot do one without the other. You cannot do research and development at the same time. You have to focus on the scientific bit of research of it all. So thank you so much. And we have now understood the role that KIRDI plays in promoting a green and circular economy. You know, and if you have any type of idea, just like you said, walk in. Say you are a potential incubatee. Then from there, you can be in the different thematic segments, you can be guided there. Yeah. So thank you so much for being part of this conversation. This has been, I've been your host, Wanjira Maganjo, and this is Sustainability Connect. Remember, we'll be rewarding our listeners with goodies in the next coming weeks, and we'll be telling you much more in the next show. But up until then, thank you so much for being part of this Wednesday's conversation, and see you on to the next one. Thank you and goodbye. God bless.